All right, and welcome back everybody to this final or quarterfinals weekend here in United States Cup 2025. My name is It's Pigeon. Today I will be joined by Kenya to cast this wonderful match between Minnesota and Kanssouri. Kenya, how are we doing today?
I mean, I can hardly be better, if I'm being honest. We got two matches back to back that we're going to be casting, and I am very excited, especially for this first one here. Minnesota, Kanssouri, two teams that are pretty evenly seeded, and I think both teams have a lot of depth that you don't like just initially see from each of the players if you're just looking at the names on the screen. So I am really curious to see how this match is going to go.
Yeah, definitely gonna be interesting. I do believe both of these teams pulled off upsets last week. If I'm not misremembering, or maybe it was the week prior. I know Minnesota ended up beating, was it Michigan earlier this tournament?
I can double check,
Yes,
but
Minnesota in round of 32 beat Michigan as an upset. So that was their upset, and then they lost to South California. So that is what netted them in the losers bracket. This is a losers bracket match, so neither of these teams actually did an upset last week. But it's gonna be interesting to see here. Kanssouri also losing from the winners bracket versus seed 9 Nevada last weekend. Excuse me, in the round of 32. So they actually won their match last week against Hawaii. So very very interesting here for these two teams. I am excited to see how they go against each other. I think Minnesota's a team that a lot of people have had their eyes on as far as being favorites in this matchup. I do think just overall they have a lot of good solid players. You've got Swick, you've got Eves, Seven Chibi, otherwise going by LeBrooklyn James, Lillian, and Yo Destin, who are some pretty familiar faces here in USC, as well as just in the tournament scene in general. Fall rounded out with like Mate, and then for Kanssouri, they're down one of their best players. I believe they had Flaro on their team last year, and they're still putting up some pretty impressive scores despite losing one of the better players in the tournament. So it's going to be interesting here.
yeah, I mean, I could honestly see this match just looking at all the names on the screen. I could see it going both ways. So I think we're gonna have a close one on our hands. Obviously, Minnesota, with their hard rock roster, is just always scary. Swick, Destin, and Chibi, Lillian as well. But looking on the other side for Kanssouri, I mean, they have a pretty good hard rock roster as well in Sangu Simply and Fishy Squidman, as well as having insert for a lot of the hidden stuff. So there is really a lot of depth in these rosters. And I would expect Minnesota probably just to pick into more of the mechanic stuff early. And then Kanssouri probably going to go into more gimmicky stuff. I'm not sure what their pick strategy has been in past matches, but that's just what I'm thinking based off of the names I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think you're pretty straight on with that one. This week's pool pretty heavily favors mechanics players. I think there's a lot more tapping, a lot more mechanics that these teams can choose to dip into versus if you're more of like a gimmick-based team, there's really not too much going on as far as gimmicks go. The Nomad one's like just chicken funny, and then you don't really have any super low AR Nomad pick this week. There is the AR5 Yolks Pie Insane on the Silver Temple Nomad 3, but other than that, like that's it. Whereas previously we've been getting a lot of like one low AR map plus one high CS map. That is going to get counteracted a little bit here with the Hard Rock 3 being CS 7.8. But I mean, it is a bit of a switch up in the polling.
Yeah, definitely a little different than we've seen in last week's, but I mean, still is going to be the same thing. It's still going to be a data pool. There's going to be a little jank here and there, but in the end, it is a pretty fun pool. And this warm-up is awesome. I forgot that this map existed for the longest time. I remember I had to play it in a tournament once, and I don't remember what it was for, but I think I dropped a fat 300k.
Insane. It's one of the maps of all time. One of the songs of all time, really.
Yeah. And apparently, if looking at the chat is leading me in the right direction, Destin is not online. Is that true? I don't know.
Minnesota missing Yo Destin. Yo. Destin.
No, definitely not online. Okay, so that changes things a little bit. But I think Minnesota still probably wins Hard Rock at this SR. I think it's to a point where Chibi isn't yet outscaled and can still put up really good scores on every Hard Rock map in the pool. So I wouldn't be too worried about Minnesota's Hard Rock still, but not having Destin is obviously a hit to the rest of the mechanics on the team. But yeah, I think they'll still be fine.
Yo Destin going by 011001000 now. Wonderful. What an amazing name change.
Is that wait, is that real?
Yes. 011001000.
Okay.
Those who know binary. I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now because I'm curious.
I mean, it's just like a single letter, a number, right? That's just one.
D.
Yeah, D. Cool.
It's a lowercase
there
d.
We go.
You know what? Sure.
D for Destin. Why not?
Yeah, I guess.
Waiting for these warm-ups to go. Here's another interesting warm-up. Tragic Love Extra from Fentos. Amazing.
His background is crazy.
His background goes pretty hard.
Hey, am I listening to you? Oh my god.
What a wonderful warm-up.
This is sick. Yeah, I mean, this is about what I expect from warm-ups.
I just got a screenshot from somebody just screenshotting the poop slider and sent it to me. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pick strategy, I think. Kanssouri probably gonna keep going, or probably gonna end up going with the more gimmicky stuff. Let Minnesota pick into mechanics more, even with missing out on Yo Destin, if that is going to be the case. Could just be appearing offline too. That would be just complete aura farming for them, but if they are actually not here, which is a very real possibility, then Minnesota, I think, still has good mechanics lineup for this week. I do think that they will actually still continue to pick into mechanics. So
Yeah, I mean, it
but
wouldn't shock me.
we are finally done with the warm-ups.
All right.
And we are gonna
We're
get into the
getting
meat and potatoes here of this match.
the picks and the bans here. Now, I would expect Minnesota probably just to ban something like the Hidden 2, where so you don't have to worry about too much low AR in the pool or anything like that. Maybe not Silver Temple, because that map is just a memorization map. Like, you just gotta play it like 10 times until it gets ingrained in your memory. And then you
Sure.
start like dreaming of the patterns.
Do you have dreams of Silver Temple?
No,
Joke's
not
insane.
not that one in specific, but I'm not sure if you know the map Bombs Over Baghdad, the
Oh yeah.
Outcast song.
Of course.
I unironically have had dreams of that song because I was grinding it for I forget what. I think it was like a tryout or something. But it looks like
Amazing.
for Kanssouri, first band going to be Hard Rock 2, Pencilla. That makes sense. Definitely, I would say the hardest map in this Hard Rock pool. Just really difficult circle tech. And Minnesota going with the No Mod 3 ban, again, makes sense. More gimmicky stuff.
Yeah, this is also going to be the first time that we see double bans coming out here in this quarterfinals. There are enough maps in the pool now to allot for double bans, so we'll go back towards Kanssouri for their second ban, and they are going to go free mod 1, getting rid of the stream consistency map in the free mod, as Dada loves pooling. Seen it every week so far, so it's going to be gone. As far as just raw mechanics goes, too, that is really like the only map in this week's pool that is just full streams. Fremont 3 is going to be the answer here for Minnesota.
Yeah, interesting with the Fremont 3 ban. Again, one of the speedier maps in the pool. But again, if Dustin is not here, then banning that would definitely make sense, because they would just not have a speed player and would have to throw someone into fill. That would make sense. Minnesota is going to be getting the first pick here, so we are going to see just immediately what direction they're going to be going. And it's going to be DT1 for the first pick. Bleed American. A little bit of awkward aim on DT here with some pretty difficult bursts near the middle. But if you're competent enough on tapping, then you should be fine on them, right?
I love America.
I love America.
Bald eagles and fireworks and explosions. Caca.
Yeah, all of it, honestly. I love it all because I love America, and I think everyone, that's in this tournament should love America, or don't.
Yeah.
I don't care. Do whatever you want. It's your life.
Yeah, DT1. Actually, kind of a DT1. If we're just going off of generalized slot pooling.
Yeah, definitely the DT map with the most aim in it. It's going to be like about 2 minutes in length, about 240 BPM after translation with DT. So this map, not the fastest thing in the world. We are going to be seeing Swick and May in the lobby for Minnesota, Lillian in the lobby as well. I believe that's going to be the Minnesota roster for this. Kanssouri, however, Fishy Squid Man, Insert, and Sangoose are all in. Again, makes a lot of sense. Honestly, a little surprising not to see Simply on a map like this. This would definitely be his bread and butter, but maybe just not feeling crazy comfortable, which is fair on a map like this.
Yeah, I think these teams look pretty good here on paper. It's GLHFs that are coming out. I do think this pick is just really Swick saying, guys, I feel really good at my aim right now. Let's pick into aim.
Yeah,
that would
make sense.
Yeah, I am expecting a lot here from at least Swick, in particular for Minnesota. And then on the side of Kanssouri, you've got Sour Sangoose and Kinsert, who are both solid double time players with Fishy Squid Man to round out. So It's just going to come down to who the solo carries are for these two teams, and so far it's looking like a very early miss coming out from Sangoose just on the beginning section, so it's going to give actually not a score advantage towards Minnesota just because of accuracy is so much lower, but this is the parts that you were talking about. The tricky aim section is going to take down Mate. No trades to be seen on the side of Kanssouri just yet, and that is going to be even further score lead for Kanssouri as Mate finds yet another miss.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sangoose trading right after those, so score lead is going to be about hovering at about that 70k mark, but Mate still missing. Unfortunately, that score lead is just going to keep on inching over because of the act lead that Kanssouri has right now. Still 2 full combos on both sides though, so it's not over yet by any means. We get into second ki here, more of this awkward aim stuff. Sangoose is going to go down again, so Kanssouri, that lead is going to be slipping just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, does keep finding more misses and no trades on the side of Minnesota yet here for Sangoose. As we get into some of the streamier sections here, all players holding strong, but Swick goes down. That's one of the 2 remaining FCs gone for Minnesota, and that is just going to continue to give Kanssouri more of the score lead. It closed down to almost about 60,000 here off of misses from Sangoose right before this section, but it's still getting certain Fishy Squidman versus only the lone full combo on the side of Minnesota from Lillian, but that's going to be dropped now as a full reset comes out for Minnesota, and it's still 2 FCs to 0 as the score lead just climbs astronomically, and Kanssouri's going to start this one off with a break point.
Yeah, I mean, really well done by Kanssouri on all fronts. Fishy Squidman is going to go down, unfortunately, so he's not going to get the FC, but Inter is still holding and hits the really difficult geometric aim there. And still holding. Let's see if he can close it out. And the final squares get him, of course.
Oh.
That will happen. That has happened to me numerous times.
Yeah,
And
won't be the full combo.
Won't be the full combo, but a very good first breakpoint here for Kanssouri. Let's see if they can consolidate it with a pick of their own.
Very, very good breakpoint to get off of this Minnesota team. I think if you're Kanssouri, that just opens up your options pretty heavily here. They definitely have viability for picking into not just gimmick stuff here. I think if you're going toe-to-toe with a team like Minnesota on something like this DT1, it's pretty comforting.
Yeah, I would definitely be hitting a little bit of a second wind, even though the match has just started, so there is a lot that can happen here, but it is by no means over. But Kanssouri does seem to have a little bit of an advantage here. Let's see what they go into next. I would expect maybe something like the Nomad 5, perhaps. Even seeing Chicken Funny would be kind of funny. Go figure. Also, Free Mod 4 is an interesting one. I don't entirely expect it to be picked, and they went with it.
Yes!
Okay, there you go.
Yes! Chicken Funny! Oh my goodness, this is one of the maps of all time.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it for sure.
I love this map. This one goes hard. It's kind of a tech map, kind of not. It's kind of an aim map, kind of not. There's no streams in it.
Yeah, there is that. I would not really call it a tech map though. This is it's just like slider jumps really. Like there's no real technical elements to
reading
it.
aspect.
Well, yeah, there's reading, sure, but I think I don't know. I think it's a little different, but we are going to be seeing Minnesota fielding the same roster right now. Never mind, Mate is gone and Chibi is in. As for Kanssouri, Fishy Squidman and Insert, both in the lobby. Makes a lot of sense. And then for the last player, it is going to be Simply.
Simply to round out this Kanssouri roster. It'll be the same lineup for Kanssouri as it was in the previous map. No, it is a completely different style of map from the DT1. But it's just so hard to break up these 3 players on Kanssouri.
Well, Sangoose was in the last map simply.
Oh, it was Sangoose, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yep, Sangoose, Simply. They both start with S. My brain just did
I
not
do kind
make
of
that
group.
connection.
I kind of group the two together as well. I've only really seen them on teams with each other, unless it's like a draft tournament or something.
But yeah, this one's gonna be fun to commentate. A lot of awkward sliders, a lot of awkward aim. Fishy Squidman is going to have found the first miss very, very early on, as well as Simply, so that is giving just a very slight score lead towards Minnesota to begin this one here. As the map's kind of got nothing going on for the first section. It's just all about the aim here. All players hitting the triples, though.
Yeah, everyone's still holding Minnesota with the slight lead. Simply is going to go down. And in these little back and forth sliders here, no one else is going to be breaking. Minnesota's still holding 3, Kanssouri holding 2 full combos. And Fishy Squidman and Lillian are going to trade. Yeah, Chibi's going to go down right after that.
Just down to these 2 full combos, though. Insert versus Swick. Insert going to be the one to fall, though, so Swick is going forward here with the only full combo remaining in the lobby. Good recovery on the side of Simply. Other than that, it's really just Lillian at 150 combo, so for as long as Swick's going to be able to hold here, it's really going to help out Minnesota a lot. Getting into some of the trickier patterns here. Swick hits the stream. Did see plenty of misses coming out from both Fishy Squidman and Chibi, but there goes Swick finally dropping the full combo. Simply Insert both dropping as well, so that's going to be a full reset from both sides. But actually, despite the full combo from Swick, the score lead's in favor of Kanssouri because of the accuracies on the side of Minnesota. They're just so much worse than Kanssouri.
Yeah, and these chain misses on these flow patterns are not helping Minnesota's case here. Kanssouri is still holding this like 40k score lead. Chibi going down on the stack sliders is not going to help matters, unfortunately. And the end of the map is coming up. Insert is going to go down, but they still have the combo lead, they still have the ACK lead, they still have the score lead, and this map is going to close out. And I think Kanssouri has just consolidated their breakpoint on Chicken Funny.
Yeah, they sure did. Those were a couple of team scores, I think. This map's really not that hard, guys, but unfortunately for these two teams, it just wasn't able to get much score going for Minnesota. And Kanssouri does consolidate on the break point with some alright scores. I think double 3 miss is pretty good, all things considered, but it's just unfortunate where they found their misses. They're capping out their score at about 400,000, so.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean, that
doesn't
map
matter.
is just so hard to combo. Like, you can break on literally anything, it feels like. And I think that was the case for pretty much everyone in this map, and Kanssouri just kind of squeaked out on top. But now Minnesota kind of on the back foot here, down 2 picks, and they gotta get something going here, or else this is going to quickly get a little bit out of control for them.
Yeah, but it's up to the score lead that Kanssouri's got for themselves. I think that is priority number 1. They are going to have to get back a breakpoint eventually, but I do think Minnesota is going to continue picking into mechanics, despite Kanssouri getting the initial breakpoint off their first mechanics pick. I think DT2 is on the board for Minnesota. I think something like Hidden 1 could be an interesting option for them as well.
Yeah, I kind of like both options. I like both the Hard Rocks that are left, of course, because it's Minnesota Hard Rock. I think those two are also really good. Even Hidden 3 I could see possibly being picked here as the CS6 precision map that is basically just mechanics. But no, it's going to be the free mod 4. And that is an interesting one. I really did not expect that. Is, of course, going to be the CS1 rhythm map. A lot of aim control involved in this one as well. This thing is just brutal, and a really interesting pick from Minnesota, actually.
Yeah, I think this one's kind of out of left field. This was not on my radar as far as a Minnesota pick, especially this early on. I think that there were plenty of other routes that a lot of people would have thought Minnesota would have gone down, but uh, they're obviously feeling themselves if they're picking this one as their second choice. So I do think that I have a little bit of faith in this pick. I think this is the kind of map that Minnesota can definitely put up good scores on. But
Yeah, I
it is
don't
interesting.
disagree. It is just an interesting pick. It's not what I would expect from Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate stepping back in here for Minnesota, replacing 7GB from the previous map. It's going to continue to be Lillian and Swick. I think for this Minnesota team, Swick and Lillian are going to be pretty much perma-lobbied for the most part. There's hardly anything that these two players don't enjoy playing, or I guess would be not comfortable playing. Fishy Squid Man coming back in here for Kanssouri. So same lineup for Kanssouri as the previous pick.
Yeah, I mean, makes a lot of sense for this Kanssouri roster to stay about the same. Insert probably going to be taking the hidden, Simply probably going to be on the hard rock. But Fishy Squidman is going to be on hidden, and we're seeing double hard rock from the side of Minnesota. And it is going to be insert on the no mod, actually. So we're seeing a little bit of overmodding here from Minnesota. It can be Mate on the hidden.
Yeah, the hard rock really doesn't even do that much for this map, but already seeing misses coming out from plenty of players, 2 for each side of these teams. Kanssouri dropping both Insert and Simply. Swick and Mate going to be the 2 to drop for the side of Minnesota, so now it's already down to 1 FC to 1. This one's still not too long of a map, but it's still got plenty of time as Mate finds some more misses, so that is going to help negate some of the score lead that Minnesota's got for themselves. But for the first time in this match, I do think that the accuracy advantage is favoring Minnesota.
Yeah, and the 97.5 on hard rock from Swick is definitely helping matters on that. That seems to be pretty good act with hard rock. But Kanssouri is, regardless of that, going to be clawing it back, and Fishy Squidman going down is going to kind of halt that a little bit. Score lead going back over to Minnesota's side as they hold 3 pretty solid combos to Kanssouri's 2. And there, okay, they 2 go down here, and it's only Swick holding for Kanssouri with 2 combos on Kanssouri, and they are just going to get a crazy lead from this. Simply and Insert both holding really solid combos to Swick's 1 combo. And Fishy Squidman's recovery, too. I mean... And Swick going down! And just like that, Kanssouri is back on top. Gonna be getting a crazy score lead here, and I don't think there's any time. And we're seeing the... I'm so lost. Simply is double tapping the stacks there. That's awesome. And they're just still holding.
Yeah, Simply going forward here with the only full combo here so far. Are they going to be able to close it out? This is going to be yet another breakpoint here for Kanssouri. I was not expecting 1 breakpoint this early on from Kanssouri, let alone 2. Kanssouri is starting this one off 3-0 and going to try to consolidate on the second breakpoint. This is really bad for Minnesota. I think they need to switch up their pick strategy a little bit here. I think they need to kind of just recuperate on some of their maybe nerves. Maybe it's just they're not feeling themselves right now. I don't really know, but Minnesota just does not look like the same team that we've seen already from them throughout the rest of this tournament so far.
Yeah, I mean, at least to me, it's not even like Minnesota is like necessarily playing bad, right? Like they had like Chicken Funny was obviously not the greatest showing, but this team score is not even that bad. Like it's still pretty decent. It's just Kanssouri had 2 800Ks, and that's like I'm not entirely sure what you can really do against that, except just like combo better. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I think Chad is honing in on what my thoughts are, what your thoughts are. Where is Minnesota Hard Rock? Why are we not seeing that? If Swick is looking so good on the Hard Rock right now as he was in that free mod, and they were wanting to double Hard Rock on that free mod, why are they not just picking Hard Rock and force Kanssouri to play into their weakness?
I couldn't tell you, but hello, unforgiving pick. All right, it looks like Kanssouri is kind of going for what we kind of expected Minnesota to go into at some point. So they're just kind of going back and forth, picking what we thought would be the other team's picks. And honestly, even for Kanssouri, I don't hate this pick at all for them. Like,
No,
Fishy
I
Squid Man's
don't
going to be
either.
pretty good on this like old style DT. Same with Insert. I'm not sure who their last is going to be. Either Simply or Sangoose, one of the two. The core four of that team is really solid. Sangoose is coming back in the lobby, makes a lot of sense. And it looks like for Minnesota, Lillian, Eves, and Swick are going to be in the lobby, at the very least right now, for this old... It's like an old alt, really. Like old DT alt with some... Just with some really fast triples that I think are the hardest part of the map to hit.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I do think this is the first time we've seen Eves in this match for Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time that they have joined in the lobby.
I believe you're right, and we're not going to be seeing Fishy Squid Man. It's going to be Sangoose and Simply, and on this DT pick, it's DT, makes sense. And then Insert is going to be filling it out. I like this for Kanssouri. I hope they can hold through the three hard patterns of the map.
Will we see all players skip? Yes, we do.
Did. Okay.
Yeah, we will not be waiting for, what is it, like 30 minutes?
As much as I would have liked to, I need to like actually sit down, take a proper listen to this album, because it's a good one. 20 with DT, thank you.
Yeah, only 20 minutes of waiting.
I would listen to it. I would just be chilling, honestly.
Honestly, the play is if you have to use the restroom, just pick this DT and just get up and go use the restroom.
Wait, that's kind of tech. I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, this one, it's like old style, pretty much. And as you said, the real difficulty does come from some of the triples, but on the start pattern, we are going to see our first misses here from two players, one on either side. It's going to be Sangoose and Eves to trade. Down goes Simply on the side of Kanssouri, so that leaves only one remaining FC for Kanssouri versus the two on Minnesota. On one of the more spaced out patterns, did touch out Simply. Eves to trade, but still these two FCs is giving a slight score advantage for Minnesota.
And Eves and Simply both going down. Lillian breaking on a slider. That's awesome. And that's going to mean that the score lead is actually going to flip a little bit back to Kanssouri's side with Sangoose's recovery. Everyone hitting the second of the triples. Sangoose going down right after it, unfortunately. But it's not the big combo in Insert that is keeping Kanssouri in this point here, matching Swick's score perfectly. Actually, same act, basically same score. And the second of the three patterns comes up right here. And the entire team wipe for Kanssouri. Oh no!
Yeah,
This is
a complete
Minnesota's
disaster.
taking it back into the match.
Complete disaster for the side of Kanssouri. No player hitting that pattern. It is going to be Swick continuing to hold on. Lillian also hitting the pattern though, so that is going to help support the combo for Swick. But right now it's just Swick only and no contests on the side of Kanssouri, and the score lead now is the highest that we've seen so far in this map. 100,000, 150,000, just continuing to climb. On the S rank is Swick. Despite all odds, Minnesota finally looking like they're going to be putting a point on the board here.
Yeah, I mean, there is just so much free combo in this section. Well, not exactly free, but free in comparison. As I say that, Lillian and Insert both go down, Simply follows right after. Swick is the only combo still, and that score lead is basically going to confirm Minnesota winning the point. It is just a matter of can Swick hold out for the FC?
Yeah, will he be able to do it? That is the question. I do think Swick is the kind of player that definitely can do it, but there's still some tricky patterns. Does hit the big circles. Do you think there's still some more streams, or excuse me, bursts left in this map? Actually, I don't think there are. I do think that this is just going to be the full combo right here.
I think there's one more pattern. Nope.
And that's it.
Nice. Good FC from Swick and good team score from Minnesota. Bringing it back, taking a break point on Kanssouri. The momentum swing that they definitely needed coming back to their own pick here.
Yeah, and a much needed full combo too at that, right? Like, if Swick didn't FC, let's say Swick missed right in the middle where, need some players to maybe skip this? I don't know, or maybe we just panic. But if Swick did miss in the middle, potentially his score does just get capped. Like you see, it was only a 670,000 point score difference here, and Swick scored very easily could have gotten capped. So it was a needed FC for Minnesota to get this breakpoint back on their own, and it's really good for Minnesota because they were looking a little rough here on the first 3 picks. I do think that they are going to have to switch up their pick strategy. I really want to see them pick into the Hard Rocks. I think Fremonts are fine, but Hard Rock is probably going to be their best option. You have to force Kanssouri onto some weaknesses here. I think Kanssouri have good Hard Rock players, but I don't think they have 3 comfortable Hard Rock players.
I think their Hard Rock roster is definitely worse than Minnesota's. So I think Minnesota not picking Hard Rock yet is definitely questionable, to say the least. But regardless, it is still their choice in the matter. And I expect Hard Rock, but I could also see maybe going into the DT4, maybe high AR, high BPM aim, and burst pick. I could even see a Nomad 4 just for comfortability, but maybe not if they banned Fremont 3, because the maps are kind of similar, but Nomad 4 is definitely easier. So
Yeah,
I'm not just sure.
Also want to remind people, if either of these teams are listening, I do have a little bounty on the Nomad 2. For anybody who does FC and match, I will give you 1 month of supporter. Don't know if that'll incentivize either team's pick strategy, but just figured I'd throw that one out there again.
There we go. Finally, Hard Rock 1. Minnesota Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, there we are.
There we go. And the crowd breathes a sigh of relief. You see Minnesota Hard Rock in the match. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, better late than never. It's still pretty early as far as, the map or match length would go, but you would have expected this pick from Minnesota much earlier on, I feel like.
Than, I honestly expected
a third pick. Yeah.
But not a horrible strategy to pick 1 or 2 things that you're a little bit more testy on and then fall back into comfort once you get a break point for a huge momentum swing. I've seen it happen. Not a bad strategy, but only if it works, right? It is a very real possibility that Kanssouri can just start to run away with the match if you do that too much. So definitely kind of got to balance it. Lillian, Eves, and Swick are in the lobby for Minnesota. Not sure if Eves is going to be staying. I know Lillian and Swick are staying, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's still no Destin. I think it's maybe just unfortunate for Minnesota. Either that, or maybe just Destin's MIA for this tournament entirely. Not really sure, but it doesn't necessarily seem to be phasing them, right? They got the point on the board. They've won their first round of 32 match. And now they're looking to maybe turn things around here. Is Minnesota only down 2 points? You get this one. And you only need one more break point after that, but GLHS are coming out here. As a couple of the players are on the wrong map, but that's okay. We'll allow it. Let them play their double time.
I mean, I get wanting to play it again, but we got a match to play here, guys. Let's lock
We
in.
got a match, guys. Come on. Simply Sengoose and Fishy Squidman are going to be the roster for Kanssouri.
Yeah, definitely the expected Hard Rock roster from Kanssouri, I would say. You're not going to see insert on any of these Hard Rocks. Simply and Sengoose are definitely very comfortable on Hard Rock, especially Hard Rock aim. I do think Fishy Squidman is also good at Hard Rock aim, but still I don't think quite compares to Minnesota's just general strength on Hard Rock. That being said, Eves is going to be the first one to go down, and Kanssouri had a lead on accuracy regardless of that.
Yeah, first to drop on the side of Minnesota. Not really what you want to see for this Minnesota team, but it's so early on that it doesn't really necessarily mean the end for this team on this pick, but they're going to have to kind of recuperate here on that recovery. All three players down for Kanssouri. Double drop from the side of Minnesota to trade, but it's still going to be Swick holding strong. I don't even know what that pattern was. I didn't see what caught every single player on the side of Kanssouri, but that's 0 FCs now to 1, and it's going to be Swick once again having this opportunity to run away with a bit of score lead here for Minnesota.
I mean, this is what we kind of expected the match at the beginning to look like, is everyone kind of breaking on those really difficult skill cap patterns, and then Swick just kind of being the sole player to hold on and kind of bring Minnesota to the finish line here. But still needs backing scores, and Eves breaking is not going to help.
Yeah, the recoveries are starting to build up for Kanssouri. As I say that, though, down goes Sengoose, down goes Simply. Does get traded out by Eves, but it's now just Lillian against Fishy Squidman on the recoveries, and Lillian's recovery is about 100 ahead of Fishy Squidman, so that is going to help play even further into Minnesota's score lead here. As Swick continuing to be the only uncontested combo on the side of Minnesota. All players not struggling to hit that jump section. I'm not really sure what happened in the first one, but down goes all three players again on the side of Kanssouri, and this time finally the trade comes out from Lillian. No trade from Eves just yet, still no drops from Swick, and yeah, this is going to be a consolidation on the breakpoint for Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a Swick show. I mean, we expected it, but it is definitely coming to fruition once again. Swick, the only player to hold combo through the difficult sections and kind of bringing Minnesota to victory on back-to-back points. I mean, regarding no crazy disconnects, of course.
Yeah, no disconnects, right? But down goes Swick finally. Not going to be getting the full combo, but the damage has been done. This Minnesota team will be getting the consolidation on the break point, and yeah, there's just not much you can do for Kanssouri, and I would have loved to have seen this pick so much sooner for Minnesota. I think they definitely finally locked in, and picking into the Hard Rock was the correct move, but is it going to be too big of a mistake to have left this one go for as long as they did? I don't know, but for now, gonna bring things a little bit closer, 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, I
really
guess
good
only...
team score.
Yeah, that is a very good team score. The 375 from Eves, unfortunately, just a victim of max combo. That'll happen. Sometimes maps you will just miss every 200 combo, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it is what it is. But Kanssouri does have the opportunity to stop Minnesota in their tracks here, and I think they do have a couple picks that they could potentially go with to make that happen. I don't think DT3 is that bad, though I would kind of avoid picking it. I think Nomad 2 is pretty decent for them. I think Nomad 5 is pretty decent for them. Any of the hiddens, and it is going to be hidden 2, playing off of the Nomad 3 ban from Minnesota. I think this makes a lot of sense to pick after losing a pretty awkward Hard Rock aim pick.
Yeah, this is gonna be the AR8 hidden pick here. We haven't really had an AR8 hidden yet in this tournament, so is gonna be the one for Kanssouri, and we've already seen Kanssouri picking into anything but gimmick, other than I'd say maybe Nomad One's the closest thing we've seen as far as a quote unquote gimmick pick for Kanssouri. But this is gonna be probably what we were expecting Kanssouri or to be picking into. I think for the rest of this match, they're probably gonna just go more with this awkward stuff and really just kind of sit with the fact that they're up a break point on Minnesota. Try to get Minnesota into these uncomfortable picks for them. Whereas like the hard rock stuff is going to be the uncomfortable stuff for Kanssouri.
Yeah, exactly. And for Kanssouri, we are going to be seeing Fishy Squidman in the lobby, Insert, and Sangoose as well. And for Minnesota, Lillian, Swick, and Mate. Makes a lot of sense for this roster. I think the Lillian and Swick are probably the players that would be in on reading stuff anyway on this team over Chibi, Destin, and Eves. So
Also,
it's kind of just a matter of how much they practice.
Yeah, also, another thing that I just remembered about this map is it's not even like a reading map per se. It's
No.
more of like a density check. It's a lot of bursts. So they're still kind of picking into mechanics here for this Kanssouri team.
Yeah, we're seeing a abort in chat. I'm not sure if that is that's real or not. Seeing as the map is not loading though, I think it is a real abort. So gonna be another minute until we get into the map.
Hit
With
sign
disconnection.
out when opening task manager, which turned off the drivers. Okay.
Oh, you do the control delete into task manager. Yeah, that'll happen, I guess.
Interesting. It's unfortunate, but this one's gonna get underway though. Off the early abort. Squidman, Insert coming back in here for the hidden. As to be expected, Singoose gonna round things out here. And it's gonna be Swick the first to fall. Player that we've seen holding on to the combo for the longest in the last two maps. Dropping as the first, does get traded out by Sengoose, but down goes Mate. Trades here come through for Kanssouri. Kit insert. I just can't, man. These names
I'm not even trying.
Destroy me.
I know, I'm not even bothering. For Minnesota, though, the only full combo in Lillian does go down. Same with Fishy Squidman, though. And once again, only combo on the board is Swick.
Yeah, Swick on the recovery. Was the first to miss. And now the highest combo in the lobby with 150,000 points separating these two teams at halfway through. It's really just the accuracy that is playing to the detriment of Kanssouri, and I think this is probably going to be a point here for Minnesota unless Kanssouri is able to get a little bit better of scores going for them, but I think it's already too little too late, even with the misses coming out here from Lillian. The accuracies on both Mate and Swick, 94.3, 96% on Mate, highest in the lobby, and they're really pulling heavy work here, especially with the recovery from Swick.
Of course, as you say that, they do go down. Lillian goes down as well, so if we see a break from Swick, this map could turn over to Kanssouri. I think there would be enough time, but that break would have to happen soon.
Yeah, but even with a break, I don't think it would be enough. Just look at the accuracies on the side of Kanssouri. You've got just barely 90 from Fishy Squidman. Actually, the quit out from Fishy Squidman.
I get it.
Singoose on the 93, 92 on Insert. And I mean,
yeah, just the Swick show. Another not full combo, but really solid combo. 850k. That's not nothing. And yeah, it literally is just a Swick show. It looks like Fishy Squidman got DC'd. I don't think if he had a local, it would matter anyway.
Are we sure that's a DC? You know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that was a DC. Unlucky does happen, and yeah, it's not really a reading map per se. It's AR8 hidden, but Minnesota just looked that much better on it. They just had better accuracies. They had better comboing. Just overall had better scores, and I do think for Minnesota to get that breakpoint back this early on is a little bit of a sigh of relief, tying things back up 3-3 off of Kanssouri's fourth pick. I'm not even sure anymore at this point, but it is going to be Minnesota now to try to consolidate on the breakpoint themselves. So I think picking into the Hard Rock, I think you only have the Hard Rock 3 left. The Hard Rock 2 was banned out against them. There's also Free Mod 2, I think they could go for. Otherwise, I think it's something like No Mod 2, maybe No Mod 5. It's gonna be No Mod 4,
actually. Interesting pick. I don't hate it though. It's a little conflicting seeing that they banned Free Mod 3, but I guess the maps are different enough.
Yeah,
it's a mechanics map, right? How bad can this pick realistically be? It's a mechanics map.
It's a mechanics map, but it's also an amateur mechanics map.
Yes.
The amateur has a very specific style of mapping that does not necessarily play in favor of mechanics players, but we'll see. We will see. This could be the opening back end for Kanssouri. These two teams have been getting a lot of breakpoints to start off this quarterfinals weekend, so we'll see how it goes for Minnesota. But again, I think it's just going to have to come down to one of these Minnesota players putting up a star performance, because if they're not able to, as we've seen already throughout the rest of this match, right, aside of one of Kanssouri's points, for the most part, all of the other Kanssouri points were just solid team scores.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kanssouri has a good shot at taking a break point on this. I also think Minnesota's roster on this is just good. Like Lillian, Chibi, and Swick, that's a good mechanics roster no matter how you put it. But the same can be said for Kanssouri here. Fishy Squidman, Simply, and Insert, good roster as well. So, we will see how this map goes. I'm very curious, actually.
I can't read Twitch chat. Oh, it's so bad. I just look over, I see I was pooping. It's No Mod 4, guys. And Insert gonna be the first to fall. Simply goes down. Trades come out here for Lillian, but it's gonna be the squares that are catching these players for the most part. Simply going to be trading with Lillian once again, but already very early. 2 FCs to 1. Make that 1 FC down now for Chibi dropping. So it's just Fishy Squidman versus Swick here this early on.
Yeah, a tale as old as time. Seems like no one can combo the beginning of maps apparently, which is fine. It happens. But it is just one combo to one, really. Minnesota seems to be recovering pretty well from their early breaks. Same could be said for Kanssouri, although we did see a couple of extra breaks. Another one for Insert there. So Minnesota going to be retaining the slight lead here. Accuracies seem better off of Simply's 95. And Insert not being able to hold combo, unfortunately. Minnesota is just going to be just that slightly further ahead. But Lillian going down is going to kind of bring it back to a little bit of a stalemate here. Chibi is going to further extenuate that.
This is such a long map. There's been so many misses already in this short amount of time here. We're only just now getting about a quarter of the way through the map, and it's just 1 FC to 1 here with a better recovery slightly in favor of Kanssouri, that is going to help switch the score lead over. Down goes Fishy Squidman on the final remaining FC for Kanssouri. So as I say that, the score is not going to switch over towards Kanssouri. It's going to start going much more heavily in favor of Minnesota. The longer that, once again, it's going to be Swick with the full combo, only player on the side of either team holding on to any form of combo. So if Swick's going to be able to do it again, he may well just get another point here on the board for Minnesota.
There is still half of the map left, though, so let's not jump the gun just yet. Kanssouri seems to be having some pretty decent recovery combos, and on the 1/3, Fishy Squidman is going to be the only one to break, unfortunately. But Minnesota seems to be recovering decently as well, and that score lead is going to reach the 100k mark for Minnesota here.
Yeah, halfway through the map, there's still plenty of time for recovery to come out here for Kanssouri. Ideally, you'd want to see misses come through for either the recovery from Lillian or, and more importantly, the full combo on Swick. But all these two players are hitting the hard jump section. Down goes Simply, gets straight out by Chibi. There's good recovery on Insert, though, so that is matching Lillian. There goes Lillian's recovery. Now Insert is going to more or less be trying to keep Swick at bay here. So long as Insert's able to hold it, need recoveries filled up for Kanssouri. You maybe, probably, more than likely need to see drops from Swick here as Fishy Squidman ends up dropping the recovery. So that's just going to keep hurting Kanssouri in the long run. Got a third of the map left.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is just one combo to one, and that is only going to benefit Minnesota in any circumstance, really. Because Swick's AC is 99.5. Just absurd accuracy here, and holding through, just about reaching 1600 combo into reaching about 1200, and the recoveries are slightly better for Kanssouri. And Insert does go down, unfortunately, so again, Swick putting the team on his back. And a full reset for Kanssouri, and that is going to do it. Swick carries another point in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this guy wants to win. Drops the full combo at the end, but my god. At least 3 out of 4 of these points for Minnesota have just been a Swick one-man show. Just really holding his team together, keeping this Kanssouri team at bay, and just doing it all on his own.
Yeah, I mean, that is the kind of power that these lower seeded states can have, is just like one extreme powerhouse player that can turn the tides of a match by themselves, and we're seeing it live here. 4 straight points because of Swick basically full comboing, or at the very least holding long enough to confirm the win. I mean, just what an absurd performance we're seeing so far.
Yeah. Absolute masterclass here for Swick on this Minnesota team. Overall, team score for Kanssouri was not bad. But, you know, I said it earlier. If Minnesota was going to win that point, they needed one of their players to really just have a pop-off performance. And luckily enough, it's Swick just able to do it again and again. And an immediate hidden 3 is going to be the answer for Kanssouri.
Yeah, I do like this hidden 3 pick for Kanssouri here, but Swick did say best map in the pool in chat, so obviously Swick enjoys it. Swick practice. Swick is going to be in the lobby. So
yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. I don't hate this,
see.
But it is still a glorified mechanics map. CS6 aim with hidden. Hidden doesn't really do much for the map, but I don't hate it. I really don't. I think this is one of the better picks that they could have picked. Fishy Squidman and Insert are going to do really well on this, and then having that final player, and most likely Sangoose, he was in on the hidden 2, going to round out that Kanssouri roster. As for Minnesota, the same hidden roster that we've seen in the last map, going to be Lillian, Mate, and Swick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to be one to fully doubt a team's pick, even if I know, like, oh, well, this team historically picks into this skill set more, so I'm going to expect them to pick this versus the other team, right? I never want to be, like, a full-on doubter of, like, this pick, no, I don't think this is a good one, but I do always have a little bit of some some worries when it does come to picks like this, right? You're picking Precision into Swick, who is just absolutely popping off today. I mean, just really putting up monster score after score after score. It is hidden, but like you're still picking into one of Minnesota's best players, best skill sets. So it's a little bit concerning here, but I do think if Kanssouri is going to get this point, they just need to see not only misses from Swick, as well as, you know, any of the other Minnesota players who are capable of putting up solid solo scores of their own, but you also have to get good team scores, which Kanssouri has been doing throughout the entirety of the rest of this match.
Yeah, I mean, it has just been, they've been doing well, but Swick has been doing better. So we'll see if that is the story for this map. We're immediately seeing 2 breaks right off the bat on the first pattern. DJN, a new player for Kanssouri here in the lobby for their first map of the match. And Minnesota, just early on, is going to be taking a slight lead just off accuracy alone. And Mate is going to be the 3rd one in the lobby to go down, so only 1 full combo on Minnesota, and you know who it is. While Kanssouri does have 2. But DJN chain missing on that stream is not going to help matters. Fishy Squidman dropping is only going to make things worse.
Yeah, Fishy Squidman, not the player that you would want to be dropping on the side of Kanssouri. One of the best acts in the lobby, too. Is getting matched more or less by Lillian. Swick, the only other standout accuracy in the lobby as far as being higher than Fishy Squidman. Mate also on the 98.7, but yeah, Fishy Squidman off of that first miss is just continuing to drop more and more combo. DJN dropping, does get traded out by Mate, but still it's just these 3 players that have been continuing to find misses. Lillian, good recovery. Still going to be the 1 FC on Insert, but down goes Lillian, as I mentioned it, and yeah, it's just Insert versus Swick now, halfway through the map, and the accuracies are better for Minnesota, the recoveries have been better for Minnesota overall, so it is a little bit nerve-wracking here for Kanssouri.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be nervous if you are them. Unfortunately, Minnesota has no backing other than Swick's FC, so we're going to need to see a break end soon, but Kanssouri has recovered pretty nicely. Fishy Squidman going down right as I say that, of course. And DJN, we saw it with a really shaky cursor, is going to go down. It is just the 1 full combo to 1, but that score lead is reachable for Kanssouri if they see some breaks, or if those recovery combos keep going down. So this is by no means over.
Yeah, no means over. It's only 50,000 points. You only need to see a major miss from Swick. That's a lot to ask, but we've seen it, right? He didn't FC the previous map. He hasn't FC'd most of the maps in this match. I think aside from 1 single map, Swick has not FC'd any others. So you just need a miss from him, and Insert is going to have to continue to hold. How much longer can that happen, though? I don't know.
We're down to the final KI here, and it's FC versus FC. It is a 1v1 face-off. No other combos on the board, just Insert versus Swick. And they're both still holding. Swick goes down! Hold on, there's a chance! Insert is still holding on these aim patterns. There's no help from the team, but there is a chance the act going down on the 1/3 burst is not going to help matters. It is a 50k score lead, but it's going back so fast on the side of Kanssouri. It is only Insert to hold this here, and the map is just about over, and he's still holding. He breaks at the final second, and it's a 5k score lead for Minnesota. Fishy Squidman is the only combo on the board with 150. Is it going to do it? Lillian going down, and the map is over, and Kanssouri takes it! 1,200 score lead for Kanssouri, and they take it. Insert holding just barely long enough. 1 miss, 80k. Oh my god, I can hardly believe it.
I thought for sure, Icania, when I saw the act drops come out from Insert, I thought for sure that was just going to be a Minnesota point regardless of the FC, but no, he was able to hold on just barely long enough, just barely long enough to keep Swick at bay, and Swick just wasn't able to full combo. He wasn't able to get the score that Minnesota so desperately needed, and Insert just wins this one for Kanssouri, finally getting another point on the board. We hadn't seen it since they went up 3-0 at the beginning of this match, and now they've tied things back up 4-4 on one of their last picks here. Was going to be their second to last pick. Now is guaranteed to be the second to last pick for them. But Minnesota, they're still in it, right? It's going to be a 1-2 situation here, best of 3. Else we go tiebreaker. And I don't really know which one of these teams I would favor on this tiebreaker.
I don't know either. This map, it's so out there that I just no clue. Right. But it is Minnesota's pick. They do have the CS 7.8 precision map in the pool left to pick. Still have the DT4 as well, but if they're not feeling it on speed, probably not feeling it on that. Because there is a non-zero amount of speed in that map at 288, I'm pretty sure. DT3 also an option. I just want to see mechanics out of Minnesota, and it's going to be DT3. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, for Tovnik's classic map. And I mean, yeah, it was either this or the Hard Rock 3 or the Free Mod 2 for Minnesota, right? I don't think any of the other picks would have made much sense for them. But I mean, my god, Kanssouri winning that one. Just, what was it, 1.3, 1.4k? The very end?
1.2.
That was, yeah, that was everything for Kanssouri. And it's not over yet. But definitely,
Not over yet,
I
but
had
now
my
you have-
doubts on that pick specifically, but they were able to silence them at the very end. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, now Kanssouri has a chance here in this match. They have stopped Swick's reign of terror, taking #1 on the past 4 maps. Maybe this is a turning point for the match. We could see a potential breakpoint on this, and then if Kanssouri does that, they have their own pick to go off of, which we'll see. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But man. Okay, rosters. Looking like Swick, of course, Mate, and Lillian are going to be taking this from Minnesota. As for Kanssouri, Simply, DJN is back, and Sangoose. This is so interesting. I'm actually really eager to see how Kanssouri's going to do on this map. I know Simply and Sangoose are probably going to be good on it. DJN is kind of the question mark of the team, though. Not entirely sure what he's going to do. Why is Sangoose playing Uparts?
Sangoose is going his own way.
You know what?
Just fuck it. I'll play Uparts. You guys take the DT3. But no. He's going to be playing the DT3 with the rest of their team. Maybe going to be the first to drop. Slight accuracy advantage in favor of Kanssouri. As maybe finding some more misses on some of these burst sections here. And for a final pick, this one is actually on the shorter side for what we've seen so far in this match, but down to Sangoose finally ends up trading out some of the patterns here with Mate, but still it's going to be a slight score lead for Kanssouri.
We see accuracies are tanking by the second on these space triples here. We'll see who hits them. Sangoose goes down. Mate can't hold combo. DJN goes down. It's only Simply on Kanssouri to hold still. And it is Swick and Lillian. Simply goes down. Lillian goes down. It's all eyes on Swick yet again. Unfortunately, the train cannot be stopped.
Yeah, and 250,000 points here halfway through the map. I mean, what you had insert on the full combo to match Swick on the previous map, but there's no insert in this one. There's no player on the side of Kanssouri that is matching Swick, and he just has free reign to do whatever the heck he pleases. I think even if he just finds a random miss here on the slowest part of the map, it still won't matter for Kanssouri.
Unfortunately, with a map this short, there's no combos on the board for Kanssouri. And it is just Swick doing as he pleases yet again. Taking the 5th map of the match by himself, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where Kanssouri goes after this either. I think everything else left in the pool is more or less just like raw mechanics stuff here. Fuck it. Kanssouri Hard Rock 3.
You know what? With how this match has been going, I wouldn't even be shocked. Like,
I
it's
think it's
been back and
Kanssouri
forth.
Hard Rock 3.
That would be kind of an aura pick. Like, let's be honest. Do I think it would work? No. But it would be aura. I don't think they're going to go into Nomad 2 because Insert hates that map, as he has made very clear earlier on. Hidden One, I could expect maybe. God, other than that, I don't know. I don't think they win Free Mod 2. I don't think they win DT4. I don't think they win Hard Rock 3. I think it's either Hidden One or Nomad 5, but either are... I don't know. I don't want to say that Hidden One's like a questionable pick, but I don't know if they have the advantage on that per se. Like, they have Insert who's going to do a thing on the Hidden, of course, but that map is... I think it's just the kind of thing that a lot of people can combo through. And I don't know if maybe that will lead Kanssouri in the right direction, but I think it is also the same kind of story for Minnesota, where if they have players that can combo it behind Swick, I don't know if there's much stopping them.
Oh, we are so back with this Hidden One.
I know, right?
I forgot how much of a banger this is. Get another Death Grips map here, or song in this Sweets map pool. We saw one in the, what was it, DT2 of the first week. Oh. Making a return. But regardless of how this one goes, this is going to be the final pick of the match. This is do or die for Kanssouri.
We are going to be seeing the rosters for Kanssouri. Insert Fishy Squid Man, the two names you would expect to see on this. And Sangu's coming in to fill it out. As for Minnesota, same hidden roster. We have seen the entire match. It's going to be Lillian, Swick, and Nate. And if we see a tiebreaker in this match, I don't know what I will do.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see a single tiebreaker at all in the round of 16 stage here last weekend. So to start things off in the quarterfinals with an immediate tiebreaker would be everything for these two teams, especially in the losers bracket. Again, reminder, this is losers bracket, so whichever team ends up losing this is just out of the tournament entirely. So all things are on the line here for both these two teams, as Kanssouri going to be the first to drop. Insert, first of all, does get traded out by Lillian, though, so it's going to help negate the score lead that there would be for Minnesota here. But this map kind of just continues on like this for the rest of its entirety, as Sangus ends up dropping as well. Insert down once again, and it's just Fishy Squidman versus Swick and Nate right now.
Yeah, Minnesota taking the early advantage here. Nate is going to eventually go down on these little wiggle patterns here. But it is still Swick versus Fishy Squidman, and the recoveries for Kanssouri are just a little bit better than the recoveries for Minnesota. So Kanssouri is very slowly going to start falling it back. Just kidding, Fishy Squidman goes down, and once again, Swick is the only combo on the board. Who could have seen this one coming?
Yeah, I mean, especially for Minnesota, right? You kind of expect this from Swick, but on the side of Kanssouri, it's just really been struggle after struggle, as Yeah, all players except for Swick are struggling on this difficult stream pattern. Finally, Swick goes down, but the damage has been done. It's already been 200,000, but that is going to help Kanssouri just a little bit. You know, there's still half of the map left to recover some of these scores, but they have to start recovering now. They can't afford any more misses here. Still going to be going forward here, though. Ends up dropping on some of the wiggles is Fishy Squidman and Sangoose. Trades out from Lillian, though. Down goes all players on Minnesota. Now it's just Insert. Gonna be good for Kanssouri's hopes of getting back into this, but Insert's gonna have to pull out a monster performance here for the rest of the map if they want a chance back into this.
Yeah, I think the chance is slim, but there is still a chance regardless. Insert is the only combo. Of course, Swick recovering quite nicely as you would expect. It is just all eyes on Insert to see if he can hold through this final quarter of the map. And even then, I'm not even sure if it'll be enough, unless we see another wipe from Minnesota. Lillian goes down. Hold on.
The stepping stones are there.
Trade it.
And
everyone holds. Sangoose does go down. It is Swick and Mate against Insert. Insert has the higher combo, but with Swick and Mate's combo, they're negating his score. And that is going to be it. There's not enough map. Lillian, Fishy Squidman, Sangoose all go down. Swick goes down. It doesn't matter. Insert held through the rest of the map, but unfortunately, it was too little, too late, and Minnesota is going to take this match and knocking Kanssouri out 6-4.
Yeah, and what an impressive performance here from Swick as well. Just really an all-star performance here, putting his team on his back. But GG well played to both of these two teams. Unfortunate, we do have to say goodbye to Kanssouri for the time being, but as is how most tournaments go, that's kind of what just happens in these double elimination rounds. It's going to be Minnesota moving forward to play against Carolina later this weekend. I don't think I have enough brain power to try and find that. Hold on. That'll be at 1 UTC on Monday, so late Sunday night for all of us NA fellows.
Yeah, I don't even know if we have enough time to even find it. We have another match that started 15 minutes ago that we got to swap over to. So we will see you guys in about a minute or so.
Yep. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.